Okay, so thank you for being in. We're going to start with Mod Pizza, and we're going to spend 10, 15 minutes giving some context, whether there's challenge, and then we're going to do a demo. So tell me a little bit more about Mod Pizza. If the clicker works, let's see. There we go.
I think it's the next slide, too. Well, Mod Pizza was started back in 2008, and our first store was downtown Seattle. And it was opened right in the middle of the financial crisis. And it was founded by Scott and Allie Svensson. And Allie had kind of come up with this term, simple food for complex times. And the concept was really simple. It was basically just a place where everyone could go and the whole family, they could go get pizza at a fair price.
And you guys basically, for 3-4 years, didn't really, you did some experimentation, right?
Right, so we kind of took our time to grow. Our first years, we opened only a couple stores in the Seattle area. And basically what we were kind of experimenting with is this kind of employee-first culture. Scott and Allie really wanted to emphasize making sure that we're paying employees as much as we possibly could in the fast casual sector. And we're seeing if, does that business logic make sense? Can we make the numbers work out? And so they kind of took their time and make sure we had, operationally, we were successful enough to be able to make those numbers work.
So it looks like your focus is on one hand people and the other operational excellence. That seems to be the two things that come often.
Right. I mean, we want to make a great pizza where employees enjoy working and so customers enjoy coming to.
So let's talk a little bit about what you offer.
Yeah, so if you walk into a mod, I don't know for everyone who's been to a mod before, but you walk up to a make line. And basically, you can pick from 3 different sizes. You can have a mini, a regular, or a mega mod.
And mod is made on demand, right?
Made on demand, yes. And so you can go through the line and pick from, we have over 35 toppings, so you can go and pick whatever toppings you want. It's the same price for as many toppings as you put on the pizza.
Unlimited toppings.
That's right, that's right. And then you can put it in the oven. It's ready within minutes. We do the same thing with salads, so you go through the line, you build your salad, and then it's tossed at the end for you. And then we have things like local draft beers, wines, milkshakes, so there's really something for everyone there.
So let's talk a little bit about how big you are, a little bit about your numbers. And
yeah, I'll touch up on that. We're currently about 2,200 employees. We're 113 stores at the moment, with 114 open in Campbell, California on the 26th. We're in 16 states, and then we have a planned UK expansion kind of later this year in 2016. And this was kind of insane growth. In 2015, we started the year at 13 stores. Before that, when I joined Mod in August of 2014, we were at 18 stores, and we had 31 people in our support center, which is our headquarters. That also includes field staff. And then we closed out 2015. We went from 31 stores to almost 95 stores. So we tripled in size in a year. That also includes our support center. So we went from about 31 employees in our support center, 40, to about 110. So the IT challenge is tripling in size in 1 year, going from like a little startup to more of a big corporation is just huge. I don't know if anybody you've survived tripling the size of a business, but it is a wild ride.
So you have like 100 stores in the last 5 years. So in that context, you were affected in that role by that growth, right? And I think I must not do something well with the clicker. There we go. It comes. I think I have to do it a few times. So can you tell us a little bit about your role, who you guys are?
Yeah, so I'm Peter, and I'm the BI manager at Mod. This is Dan and Elena. They're data analysts. And then generally we're responsible for collecting data and then displaying it in dashboards for the rest of the company for ease of use. And also responsible for pulling in that data and then the kind of the management of our data warehouse. When I showed up at Mod, I was also the IT guy, I was also the POS repair guy. I mean, it's not unusual to see me in stores kind of underneath counters of different things trying to figure out where wires go. It just kind of happens at a small company.
Did you make pizza too?
I have made pizza, but you don't want me to. Yeah, I'm not very good at making pizza.
You're better at playing with numbers than playing with dough, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this is a fairly highly competitive industry. There's pizza places everywhere, right? So the margins must be pretty small, and in that context, data must be important, right?
Yeah, data is very important, and also being scalable is important. So when we started Mod, and then when I joined Mod, we didn't really understand how this thing would scale. We knew we had the possibility to scale, but we didn't understand how we would scale. So we couldn't really spend $100,000 on a data center. What we had to do is we had to utilize Azure. We had to utilize what we had on hand to kind of build our kind of SQL instance and build on Azure and then build on Power BI. And that was one of the great things about Power BI is that we could get started on it without too much outlay. So generally what we did is I guess our challenges though is again, as we were growing, we were suffering from an accounting system, point of sale system that all had different data and different reporting systems. And we're using the point of sale as a reporting system, the accounting system as a reporting system. And then we had spreadsheet scrawl like most organizations do. And what really enabled us to kind of tie everything together was our data warehouse and our use of Azure. And then what allowed us to kind of show the reporting to the rest of the group was our Power BI.
So that's kind of one of the common challenge, a lot of data sources and a lot of different business users because you support people in the stores, but you have support centers and field teams, right? That's not just, you have a lot of constituents you support, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what is the solution you took to this?
So when I started about just under a year ago, we had obviously experienced a lot of rapid growth, not only in store count, but also head count in the support center. So what had been working when we had 30 stores was quickly breaking or had already broken, which involved a lot of different spreadsheets that were being manually updated. People were going out and manually pulling that data and then trying to update all these spreadsheets in different places. So we had version control, a little bit of data integrity issues. So obviously the solution was to build out a database. We built out an Azure database with an API feeding data into it on a daily basis. So we had the data and then we needed to display it in some automated fashion. So the first project was to actually automate a daily and a weekly sales report that had been previously manually being updated. So we did that with Power BI, and then once we launched that, we started to get different feedback from different teams, and it turned out that different departments, as you can guess, wanted to see different things. So particularly operations, they were really interested in labor data, and they also wanted to see the health and the performance of different regions, markets, and then hold accountable different district managers, market managers. So we were able to show reports that could be sliced and diced on Power BI so they could see that. And then, as we continue to grow, obviously we're going to have more and more data, different types of data, more in-depth data, and so we'll continue to build more dashboards for different departments. We have a huge list that keeps growing of different data demands, real estate, construction, marketing, and obviously the list goes on. And so far, Power BI has been a really great solution, and we're excited to keep growing with the product. So now I'm going to hand over to Dan, who's going to walk you through a demo of our daily sales report.
That's right. So let's see. Let's show them what we mean, because it's one thing to talk about it; it's another to show it, right?
That's right.
So
Get out
I'm
of the
gonna.
screen.
There we go. So you can. I'll let you. You have the mouse. You can make this
Awesome.
bigger, smaller. So what are we looking at here?
So here's a map of our locations. This is very basic Power BI here. These are all of our company stores. So we're majority company stores. Unlike some other fast casual chains, we don't do too many franchises. So these are our corporate stores. We also have franchisees in Colorado, North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan. But our first store was down here, and actually it might be easier for me to do this. Ooh, look at that.
The magic fingers. So you're
The
going to tell
magic
us where the
fingers.
first store is.
Yes, our first store was down here in downtown Seattle.
Maybe we'll have tourists, like when they go to Starbucks first store, they line up. Maybe we'll have one
Hopefully one day, yes.
Like, because you're not
Out
far
the
from
line.
the market, no?
Out
There'll
the
be a line, the first mod store, where
That's
you have
right.
like
Yes, and so-
15,000 of them.
And to give you an idea, we are down here. That's where we are,
Oh, you have a store
right there. And we're right down the street.
So for
Pretty
those of
conveniently
you,
right down the street. So
if you are craving for pizza,
Yeah, that's-
so where are we? We are in Bellevue.
we're Bellevue Place
Bellevue
right
Place.
there,
So you go down past
right,
the
so-
mall, and then it's right there.
Yeah.
We didn't
I'm
plan
just
on doing
saying.
this, right?
Didn't
you
mean to
sneaked
point
that
that
on
out.
us,
I did sneak that in there. So,
but that's okay.
yes, but we got
You're
'em.
using great BI to show it.
That's right. That's right.
So you have, and you have been growing a lot in California, and
Yeah.
maybe we can make the visualization here. We can narrow this so they can see it throughout the.
And we've even added stores since we gave you this. We've actually opened from 312 to 320. We opened 8 stores in 8 days. So we had stores opening in Missouri. Our first store in Missouri opened up.
Anybody from Missouri here? No.
No. Silverdale, Washington opened on Sunday. So we've kind of opened all over the place.
That's right.
Um,
And you're opening in UK next year, so you guys are
right. We have
So
plans
you
for
want
that.
to talk us a bit. We talk about growth and profitability. You want to show us another tab about
Yeah,
how you
so-
look at growth and profitability?
Yeah, so in the restaurant industry, growing stores does not equal growing profits or growing sales. So we look at sales change, year over year. We call it sales comp. Obviously, in retail, it's really big. So what we're looking at here is kind of the same sales change year over year. Now, this is just dummy data. This isn't real data, but it gives you an idea of what we look at. We look at year over year sales percentage. And you can kind of see the cities and the stores in green are stores that are growing sales-wise kind of with the pace of the company. The ones that are red are the ones that are low, and then the ones that are in between are kind of in between. So we can kind of look
And then
at...
the states here, the colors are the same. So if
right.
this was real, you're growing a lot in, what is it, New Jersey and Virginia,
Right.
in line with the high growth. And then here it's kind of a little bit less.
Right.
And you have an orange here, it looks like.
Right, so if we jump into Washington here, this works for me, then you can see all of our Washington stores. There you go. You can see all of our Washington stores here, and we can kind of figure out, okay, what is driving those sales? So what stores are doing great, what stores may need more marketing and may need something else to kind of get it going. And so that's how we kind of look at it. We want to be able to, because we started off when I started it was 26 stores, but we had 32 at the beginning of 2014, 91 by the end of 2015. So the data kind of exploded, and so we went from looking at it day by day, where I used to, when I first started, manually type in a daily sales report and type in all the sales and type in all the transactions, and then do that weekly as well. So it's all manual, and then now we can just automatically do it.
It's beautiful.
And we can look at it from a market view and then be able to kind of drill down to, okay, how is that market numbers coming about?
So not only you do it more efficiently, but you can click on Seattle and you can see the store. So this is, and the output that you create is a lot more intuitive for your consumers than the big reports you used to do manually, probably.
Right, yeah. And I think we don't have very technologically savvy people that are looking at this day to day, so it's easy to have easier reports that's more visual.
So if you click on Seattle, will we see just the stores that are in Seattle on the bar?
If we're lucky, yeah.
If you can find my mouse, right? Or maybe with your finger. Oh, there you go. And so here we'll see the 4. So you will, if this was real, you're doing well in Ballard, but Seattle Center is a bit behind.
Right.
So those are the visual, but you also have very detailed operational report, right?
That's right. So we did daily sales table here. Again, this is just dummy data, but this is what I used to fill out manually every single day. So this was a relief. And we saw those table upgrades downstairs, so that's awesome. We'll be implementing those pretty soon.
So this will be done automatically?
Yeah, so this is all done automatically, and what's really nice, again, we like to look at it from if people in the support center, like we said earlier, we have a lot of different audience members. So we have people in the support center, we have people out in the field, so we need to be able to kind of let people decipher. So if we're going by district, we have district managers. So if we were looking at, let's say, Anthony's district, and this is probably easier with the mouse here, it will just show Anthony's stores. And so they can look at it district manager by district manager or market by market. So that's kind of what we like the most about these tables is how we can filter it.
And then some people like to see tables, some like people do visuals. You can do both.
Right.
And so that's the beauty of it is I've had business partners that like to see the numbers.
Right.
I like visuals better, but you can self-serve, you can customize and help them with that.
Exactly.
And
I'll just keep going and show a couple of these other
Yeah.
ones. It's all daily sales kind of wrapped up in a higher view. Usually on this line, obviously this isn't real data, but usually we'll see a trend and we can figure out by weekday how we usually do. That can feed into other reports that we do when it comes to like forecasting or figuring out who you need to have on shift. We want to be able to eventually implement this with all of our different dashboards that we have. So we have things like average sales charts where we can just click on a certain and drill down into that particular market and look at all the stores. So if, the drill down capability was actually really huge for us when they added it. So if I wanted to look at all the SoCal stores, they're all here.
That's right. So you drill through, you click on the arrow, and you pick California. Now you have all the California districts.
That's right.
Prior year in red, current year.
Yeah.
So you're doing well in everywhere except Irvine, I guess.
Yes, in this fake scenario we are, which is great.
If this was real, obviously.
And then one report that we do is kind of unique. It's our break report. So operationally, it kind of goes with our culture of making sure that employees are treated well. We really emphasize making sure that everyone's getting their break. And so we kind of implemented on our POS system, you can actually put if you took a break or not when you're checking out. So it'll ask you if you took a break or not. If you say no, then you're going to show up on this report. That way our operations team and the support center can look and see kind of from a general view, okay, who's taking breaks and who's not? Do we have an issue with a certain market? Is this a new store and we didn't train correctly? So there's things that we can look at when we're looking at this break report, and it's not just numbers. It's, we implemented it for something else as well.
So here, 44th and Indian, we'll have to talk to the manager, right?
Right,
because
and they
these
hired
are
a
the
lot of
people
Smiths, so
who don't
that's pretty good.
Spiff?
Smith.
Smith, that's
Yes.
right. No, that's right. But that's real. A lot of family. No.
Yeah.
So, and then what I thought was interesting is you use extensively mobile report.
Yeah, so I'll put my phone on here to look at mobile.
So he's simply plugging his cell phone, and we're going to switch the screen.
My nephew's going to get some screen time, hopefully, here. I don't know if there he is. Okay. So we'll get into the...
So just to show you, it's really his phone. He opens Power BI. Because once you turn it, it looks like it's a computer, right? Once you...
That's right, yeah. So if I go to I just had a summit presentation one here, but we have multiple reports on our app. And if we have it here, we can turn it, makes it look a lot better. Makes it actually look like, and this is again, we have other reports, and wow, it's huge on there, but
and
it
you
looks
can
a lot
see
better
in front
when
of
you
you
turn
on
it
that
to the
screen.
side, and you can see everything from here. What's really important for us when it comes to the mobile app is we have a lot of people in the field. So we have real estate people in the field, we have construction people in the field, we have obviously the stores out and about. So we need people to be able to access this data without getting an internet connection or without getting on their computer. So they can use this app to do that, and it's really important for us. So this is the same stuff that we were just looking at on the desktop version is now on the phone here.
So we may have a time, we didn't plan to have a questions, but we may have a time for one question.
Sure.
First of all, we have something else we have to talk about, sorry. It's my first one. Anything else you want to show? Sorry.
I think we're okay.
You're okay, sorry.
All right. No worries.
So the last slide, thank you again, is we want to talk a little bit about your favorite Power BI capability. Sorry, I keep switching back and forth. So would you like to tell me a little bit about what are your favorite features of Power BI?
Yeah, well, I think we kind of talked about it a little bit. We're really excited about the drill down thing because as we get bigger, we want to look at it from a market view and drill down to the stores. We're excited about that table thing. That's a new one because we want to be able to format our tables kind of like you format them in Excel, so they actually feel a little more usable and they're a little more visual.
So when you say the table, is that a custom visual or you embedded Excel in Power BI?
So I was talking about the formatting stuff downstairs.
The format? Okay,
yes.
got it.
So, because we'd be able to put it in tables, but we haven't really been able to format.
That's
like
right,
you
that's
can
right.
on
There's a
Excel.
very limited formatting, that's
yes,
right.
for people that are format particular. It's
But things change every 4 weeks, so you never know what you're going to get.
That's what I hear,
you know,
yes.
so.
And then the mobile app, obviously, I explained why it's important to us, but we just have so many people in the field that getting out a computer every place they go is just
That's
it's
right.
hard for them.
So we probably have time for one question. Anybody has a question? Okay. Go ahead, and I'll repeat them.
I'm just curious. This morning we saw some of that sentiment analysis.
So the question is, do you guys do sentiment analysis? So you look at Twitter, Facebook. Do you analyze what people say about mud?
Yeah, we do that extensively. We actually have a third-party software we use that in the United States with restaurants. Yelp is very important. Unfortunately, Yelp is very hard to pull data from. If Power BI had a Yelp connector, hint, hint, we'd use it more.
Hint, hint.
But since they don't,
Okay.
We have to use a
I got
third-party
it.
software for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Probably another question. Yes? So the question, because I'm going to repeat for the video, do you break out this by district manager and you allow managers to see each other, or the security is that they only see what they get to see?
Yeah, at the moment we allow managers to see each other. Again, we went from 31 stores and like 3 district managers to now we have how many? What, 12? Yeah, in a year. So we allow people to see on the district manager level, not necessarily the GM level, but the district manager level to see multiple stores, how they're doing. Going further, we'll probably have more identity security and actually have roles, and we'll probably do that by market. But at the moment, that is not something we utilize. So we were really excited to see that roles scenario get set up.
That's right. And maybe that drives a bit of competition sometimes. They can see each other's stuff, right?
Maybe.
Well, I think we're going to transition. Thank you so much.
No problem.
We're going to switch to Metro Bank. Please give them a round of applause. So we're going to go from pizza to banking. There's no nice transition. That's just the way it is. And we have Bruce Rioch, we said, right?
That's the one.
It's a Scottish name, right?
It is indeed.
Okay, so Bruce, tell us a little bit about this really innovative, unusual bank, Metro Bank.
So I guess listening to MOD Pizza here, it's very similar. So we're a brand new bank in the UK. We're the first high street bank to actually open in over 150 years.
First
First.
high street bank in 150 years.
Yeah. So if you guys, if anybody's from the UK, you'll kind of get it. And I understand that in the States, you open a bank every 5 minutes. But in the UK, we are the first bank in over 150 years. We opened in 2010, right in the middle of a financial crisis.
Like them.
Exactly like them. I mean, the synergies are amazing. We're very fortunate that we've got obviously no legacy, reputation, regulatory issues like other banks have. For those of you that know the Commerce Bank model from the sort of northeast states, then we're actually very much based on that model. We were founded by Vernon Hill, who founded Commerce Bank back in the 70s. We equally are experiencing huge growth. We haven't got as many stores as these guys. We've got 40 stores now. We've got deposits at 5 billion, loans at 3.5 billion, and we're kind of doubling the size of the bank every year, so our growth is pretty phenomenal.
That's right. And what's interesting, you're just a retail bank. You don't do insurance, you don't do investments.
Correct.
And so we were preparing from this call to the phone when he was in UK, and then there was a lot of noise. And
Yeah.
you're saying people are doing the conga in the office.
That's right.
And
That's
what
right.
is that has to do? Because you talk about the culture, and I think this is related to that, right?
So we have what we call an amazing culture, which is really, really customer centric, and we kind of get everybody to kind of throw their egos in the bin before they arrive. But I'll tell you what amazing means, because it does actually mean something, and we can spell amazing. But it kind of goes like this. So A is attend to detail. M is make every wrong right. A is for ask if you don't know, bump it up. Z is for zest, it's contagious, share it. E is for exceed expectations. And then the ING is for our leaders, which is to inspire, nurture, and game change.
So that's not the competitor ING, no?
No. And what Mark heard on everybody's first day, we call it visions, and they get to sort of make up and write a song about Metro Bank, and they have to do that, singing it around the office, which actually...
And they were going to the office, and you can hear the noise behind it.
I said to Mark, I'm going to have to put you on mute. The conga's coming round, and then I said, actually,
He said, "What the conga?"
I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to let you listen to this. So we had quite good fun.
So you guys have a lot of unique things, because I grew up in Paris, and there are things here that are... One thing is very surprising for me, coming from Europe, is that you're open on Sundays.
Yeah,
Because in Europe, only coffee shops and restaurants are usually open, right?
that's right. To open a new bank in the middle of a financial crisis in an economy which is dominated by 5 banks, which hold about 95% of the UK market share, we needed to do something pretty different. So one of the things we do is open a lot longer hours. So we're 7 days a week. We're 8 till 8, Mondays through Fridays, and then 8 till 6 on a weekend. Other things that we do, we offer instant account opening. In the UK, other banks have now gone into a tradition of booking appointments. If you walk into a Barclays bank, then they'll say, yeah, come back in 3 weeks' time, and we'll do an account there and then. Not only do we do an account there and then, but one of the things that we do is we can open an account within 15 minutes, doing all the full ID and V, and we actually print the debit card there and then, and we actually get customers to choose their PIN number on a nifty little machine. So rather than send out a random PIN number, that they have to then go and change. We get people to do that there and then. We also have safe deposit boxes, which all the other banks have got rid of. So we have about 2,000 boxes per store, which are pretty much sold out.
So you try to be like a neighborhood bank that is
Yeah.
open. You
Yeah,
have a
proper,
branch manager.
proper retail bank. We don't call our stores branches, which other banks do. We absolutely think ourselves as a retail model here.
Got it. And when I look at your bank, maybe I click an extra one.
That's the one.
It has a very different look than the competitor underneath, right?
Yeah. So we look a little bit different. We're very open, glass frontage, tall ceilings.
It's like the Starbucks of banking,
It is.
right?
It is.
Yeah,
And then-
pretty soon you're gonna have, Subway, Starbucks in there. People.
And again, we needed to be a little bit different, but sort of there's a classic National Westminster Bank from the outside. It looks doomy and gloomy, and on the inside it just looks rubbish. And as you can see, lots of glass, and we kind of look more like a hotel reception, which is more friendly and welcoming.
That's beautiful. That's nice. And so, because you started only in 2010, you have had some high growth challenge, right?
Yes, we have. Our BI challenge is quite a good one, actually. So when we opened the bank in 2010, we outsourced our BI provision to a company offshore, and they built us a data warehouse. And actually, the plan was only ever to have them as a supplier for around about 12 months. We turned them off last year after 5 years. It got pretty bad. Originally, it was about having all of our data T minus 1. It got to T minus 2, and then eventually got to T minus 3. It was pretty awful, so we had to do something about it. Some of the principles around what we wanted to achieve were around some of our business focus. So we are fanatical about our 360-degree view of the customer. We want to know everything about the customer, all of their channel usage, the transactions that they're doing, whether they're online, whether they're mobile, whether they're visiting stores, etc., etc. So, and we pump all of that data back into our CRM solution as well. Our business gave us the challenge that they wanted a BI solution, one BI solution across multiple devices. So that meant, desktops, tablets, web service, and also mobile devices as well. And we needed something agile. We are a business that we talk about ourselves as working in dog years. So I've worked for Metro Bank for 3 years, but that really means 21 years in dog years life, because we get that much done that quickly. So we needed to be agile. And also we needed that end user analytical capability as well. So we didn't want to give just sort of pre-canned reports all day, every day. We wanted people to explore their data and also get answers. So things like Q&A we think is just unbelievable.
Well, okay. So you have backend several systems. You have Oracle, SQL, you have IBM Integrated, but you have only one front-end BI tool for the entire company, for everybody, from the CEO to the admin to the team manager, only one.
Yep.
And that's Power BI.
That is Power BI. So we have multiple source systems. So we have a banking platform, we have mobile platforms, online banking platforms, we have mortgage origination systems, we have telephony systems. So we have multiple source systems of data. So things like Power Query are, fantastic set of tools for us. But what we do is we bring all of our data into an Oracle operational data store, and then we actually have a SQL server as a reporting layer. And that's when we use a lot of Power Query as well.
And so what we're going to show you now, so you have like 43, maybe you can log in. You have like 43 Power BI reports to run the entire bank.
Yes.
And you only use the web version, correct?
We do.
You got to go here?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the one. So let me just do that quickly. So I'll just zoom in here. So we have, as Mark says, I'll come onto the dashboard in a minute. We have 43 reports, as you know, all down the left-hand side. So we've got a partnership with Zopa, who's a peer-to-peer lender. We monitor their portfolio through Power BI. We have a partnership with Xero. Again, we look at the number of customers that are signing up to Xero. We have all of our voice of the customer, voice of the colleague data. We have our treasury reporting. So treasury is quite important. So we monitor the deposit stability of the bank using Power BI. And it's really, really fast. We monitor all of our transactions, all of our telephony systems, switching, I mean, basically everything, all of our mortgages, liquidity, limits.
And then we're going to look at the 3 anonymized on top, because those
Yeah.
you can't show it.
So I can't show it. Unfortunately, we're a bank. We actually just listed on the UK Stock Exchange a couple of weeks ago, so we really can't show you stuff.
No.
So
This
we've
is
got
anonymized.
We've got some demo dashboards, which I'll just talk you through. So
It's the same stuff. It's just
it is the
different
same
numbers.
stuff. It's just been mashed
Anonymous.
about a bit. In fact, the guys back in the UK were just teasing me to say that we're going to change all of these to vegetables, to carrots and potatoes.
No.
and stuff
It
like
would
that.
lose the. No.
So let me talk-
So this is, what is this?
So this is what we call accounts and balances. I did abbreviate it. So our bank, Mark kind of touched on it a little bit. We're a traditional retail and commercial bank. We don't sell insurance policies, pensions, investments, or complicated financial instruments. So we're there basically to open accounts, attract deposits, and then to lend that money, obviously to make a profit. So the most used dashboard that we have is what we call accounts and balances, which is this one here. And what this basically shows us is how many accounts did we open yesterday, how many accounts have we got in total, what is our daily deposit and lending movement, because that's critical for us, month to dates, and what's our overall state.
So if you have high-level KPIs that you can see at a glance, and then you have trends and distribution.
And so we kind of built Power BI with 3 things in mind. The first one was a dashboard, which was the bank view, and also the mobile view, and I'll happily show you the mobile view in a minute. The second element was obviously reports. So how do we build reports so that people can interact with those reports? And then obviously the self-service piece, and I'll try and walk you through all 3. So this is the kind of main accounts and balances. As I say, it shows you what's going on. I'll show you what some of the reports look like and how we build this.
What's interesting is that you guys only use the web version.
Only use the web version. We have used the desktop version. The reason why we used the web version was we were quite an early customer before desktop even arrived. So we were building lots of things in Power Pivot and then hosting that in the web. And we just got into that habit. We quite like it. It's just a habit.
So this is the red is the lending, and the blue is the deposits. You lend less than you get deposited.
This is good.
That's good, no?
This is good. This is good.
'Cause
Other
usually
banks,
we got in trouble with banks lending more than.
other banks get into trouble by having less deposits than they do lending. So what this is showing us is a bank view of our deposit and lending stock growth. The charts at the bottom show the flow, and then we've got some totals. And just to show you how, in terms of the dimensions we have in this, so if I'm a store manager and I say look after Boreham Wood store, then I can literally just have a look at my own view like that.
You guys have such cool names. Boreham Wood.
It's just a place.
Oh, okay. Like Nottingham.
If
Okay,
I'm a product manager and I want to look at say the individual savings account, then I can look at that as well.
So you choose not to use slices for real estate purpose. You
Yeah.
start using filters.
Purely real estate purpose. If I look after commercial banking as a business unit, then again all of our business units are in there. I must have.
And the adoption, so people got to know where the filters is and pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the only BI tool they have. So it's pretty simple.
Indeed. And even if I'm a relationship manager, or we call them account officers, again, I can look at that and I can get my own view straight away.
So these are more the people who work in the bank.
Yep.
In a local store. Okay, and they can see the individual
Absolutely.
detail.
We also give people the ability to look at it in tabular format, and again, I'm with you guys, the ability to make these look better will be fantastic. Again, the same filters apply, but if I want to have a look at my portfolio, then I can do that. A little bit of a competitiveness is in place, so we have all of our account officers grouped together, all of our stores. We manage all of our maturities, so this is all about when our fixed term deposits are about to mature. So if I work in partnership banking, we can use the charts as slices, and we can see who owns the maturities and how much of it they own. We can also look at the charts from a peak week. We can look at the peak weeks and see what's going on there as well.
And you can sort the table if you want to see which one is the greatest 90-day maturity.
Absolutely.
So what else do you have?
So then that was obviously the second layer. The third layer was obviously how do we give our people sort of, the analytical capability. So if I want to look at, our reach, so if I want to look at accounts opened last week, for example.
So what I'm really impressed with them, they spend a lot of time on the taxonomy.
Yeah.
And so when they type names, it's not RSVPX 3.0 loans to PDYSV. So I think you guys did a lot of work to make that consumable,
We
right?
did. We tried to make this as sensible for the users as possible. So again, if we want to look at accounts opened last week, we can see that. Looks pretty boring as a number like that. So what I'm going to do is add postcode or zip code, as you guys would call it, and we'll just flip that as a map. And we can really, really quickly render a map, and this is live in the web service. And we can see how we reach. Our stores are actually dominated around London and the southeast, but as you can see, we're starting to get a better reach as well from customers.
I was very impressed by your taxonomy, because you really did. And when you do that, then you can really take advantage of the Q&A functionality.
Absolutely, absolutely. The other ones which I like a lot, so if I want to have a look at, say, month to date, which I can't spell.
You have to know how to type. That's the challenge.
Yeah, I can't type.
But this is, I think, voice activated pretty soon. It's just with my accent, it has a hard time.
Got no chance with
They
you.
have no chance. We're talking about accent. We're going to say what, labour or labor? Labor. You put the U, no?
So one of the things we're fanatical about is obviously our deposit movement, so that's great. A number is a number. But some of the things we want to see is we want to see that by product type. So we want to see which products are winning and losing. So we can quickly do that, and we can actually see, and my CEO, he loves a waterfall, and I know this morning they kind of showed how they're going to make waterfalls easy to do, but I just love doing this because my CEO thinks it takes me all day to do it. And I can do that, and then I can literally go to my visualizations, I can put my data labels on.
So we should do Q&A with data labels.
Yeah, so and then I can
and
do,
the decimal.
Oop,
I think
hang on a minute, I don't want to do that. I want to
That's
do
good.
that. So I do that, I then take a little screenshot of it, stick it onto a PowerPoint, and I go, there you go. And he thinks it's
or you
all
can
day.
pin it to his dashboard, right?
I could do, but that would give away the secret.
No.
Um,
So he's going to find your secret sooner or later.
Absolutely.
He thinks you're really good, I'm sure.
He does. He thinks I'm amazing. The other thing that we have done in this, and I will show you this, because one of the things we can also do, and we hold all the data really well
I
summarized.
can look at you doing Q&A all day long. This is amazing.
So I think this one works. We know that Cheapside store, I'm just shortcutting now. So what I can do, and let me just do that as a table. So we do this so that we can give store managers the ability to get really, really quick into the data. Obviously I've anonymized some names here, but this would be, this would have a name, and this would show them, in terms of movement by customer.
So somebody took out £406,000.
Yep. Yep.
That's a nice vacation.
It is indeed. And we also had, nice
And
cool million in
somebody
there as well.
deposited. But I spent 22 years in finance, and going into a meeting with 3 binders and somebody behind me with a power pivot, and my biggest fear in any meeting is be able to answer questions, because the moment you go below the first layer that is presented, everything falls apart, especially when you cross-analyze, because you cannot have. You have regions, you have products, but then to have, for one region, all products, then you have to have, an appendix of 300 pages, and then you have to look for it, and it's a nightmare. This is why it resonates for me, because that was my biggest fear, going to a business review and not be able to answer a question. And that's amazing.
Yeah, and we literally have all the answers to all of our questions that we have in here. There's a couple of other dashboards that I wanted to just share with you, just to show you some other stuff that we do. So we monitor all of our telephony, as I mentioned. So
that's call center, right?
this is our call center.
In England, did you say telephony or call center?
Bit of both.
Same thing?
Bit of both. So a couple of things in key KPIs here. So we have kind of a set which is all about today, and we have a set which is all about month to date.
Oh, I like the way you organize stuff. It's clean.
So basically we can see how many calls we've
So that's
offered, how many
daily,
calls.
monthly.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly the same image.
That's the other thing, is that when you structure things in a very logical way, it really is easy for people to consume it,
Absolutely.
and especially on any devices on the phone.
Absolutely.
What else? Do you have online a little bit?
Yeah, so the other piece I'll show you is our what we call digital banking. So one of the things we talk about with our customers is we like them to walk out working. So I mentioned earlier, you can walk in, you can open up a bank account in 15 minutes. We give you your debit card, we give you the PIN number. We also encourage customers to use our store Wi-Fi to download the mobile app, and we get them set up working on mobile as well. So we have some really, really core measures around getting people activated. So this is how we monitor not only activations on mobile and online banking, but also usage as well. So, you know, I'll dive in and just ask Q&A a few questions. So I want to see mobile activation. Oops. There's a new feature that's going live. It's confusing me. Mobile activations by period. Let's just have a look at that. So very quickly, I can see, you know, we're actually quite late to the party in terms of launching a mobile app. We only went live in July 2014, but as you can see, we're getting
fast.
customers activated really quickly. The other thing I can do is I can do by mobile app or mobile device. So we can really quickly see, you know,
That is not a good view, I think.
which phones our customers have a lot of. You guys need to sort yourselves out.
That is not.
Sorry, I couldn't
That
resist
is
that
not
one.
part of the script, though.
Couldn't. Shall I get rid of that one quickly? The other one which is really important to us. So let me just show you this one. So we have a measure called what's it called again? Current account origination ratio. So we talk about opening accounts and getting people activated there and then. So let me do last month.
I'm so impressed by how natural your language is.
Yeah.
Because
So
that's the thing is that, and I don't know if you guys use Q&A. You know, it's an amazing feature, but you got to do some work.
Yeah.
And so, do you have mapping tables? How did you come up with or?
So this is all about the measures. It's what you call a measure. So we just call a measure current account origination ratio. It's what our people hear every day. So we talk about, you know, how many mobile activations to current accounts have you done? We call it current account origination ratio. You know, our calendar within the data model, you know, is a calendar table, so it knows what last month is. So yeah, we're 60% of our customers are signing up to mobile banking at point of sale. Now, that's all well and good, but let's just imagine it's the end of the day. I've got time for one phone call with one store manager.
Yep.
How do I then get to the one person that I need to talk to? So if I add and store, so I want to see which stores are doing well. It says there we go. Now what I want to do here is I've got one conversation. I've got time to have one impact with somebody. So what I'm going to do here is just add the current account volumes in there. I'm going to switch that to a scatter chart as well.
I love how you mix and match. You start with Q&A, you
gonna
bring
fill
a
that up.
field, you change a variable, you change the chart. It's interesting.
What's happened to my thing here? There you go. So
It's beautiful.
I've got a choice of who I need to ring. So I might say, well, I want to ring Earls Court, Tunbridge Wells, because they're kind of out of sync. But that just shows you how quickly you can get to the root cause of
That's
the
right.
data.
It's beautiful. No, I'm very impressed. Thank you again. Let's talk a little bit about. Yeah, it's amazing. You can clap. So let's talk a little bit about your favorite features of Power BI.
Lots of
There's
them.
so many that I asked him to give it to me, and he says there's so many I can't list them. The Q&A is probably one of them, right?
Q&A is definitely one of them. I think, you know, in terms of features, I mean, what Power BI does is end-to-end. And when Mark was challenging me, you know, well, what are your favorite features? I think, you know, Power Query is an ETL tool is just out of this world. To be able to connect to any data source and pull data into a data model and bring it together to get that 360-degree view is just outstanding. So that absolutely is a key feature because without that, you have nothing. Once you've done that, the ability to sort of build your data models and host it quickly within 5 minutes is brilliant. You know, you've seen the mobile phone view. The ability to see that on your phone is critical. And the three elements, so dashboards are critical so that we can see it on phone and on a tablet. And then the reports and the ability to navigate those reports. But the Q&A, I find Q&A the best.
Yeah,
It's just super cool.
So I have a surprise for you. You don't know about this. This is not scripted. And you guys should stay because this is going to be special. You don't have to look what I do. I'm going to show something, and you're going to tell me what that is. So you're going to look at the screen and tell me a little bit what that is.
10 yards from the ball.
So,
Here's Hinton's corner.
so who's the guy taking the cross? Did you know?
Looking away.
He's going to
so
come
on the
back.
corner.
He's a good-looking fellow. And
Is that your mate?
So do you know this handsome blonde man taking the corner?
That'll be Alan Hinton.
That's Alan Hinton, one of the greatest player in Seattle. He's taking the corner, and then tell me what happened here. So
Farland trying to get there. And Rioch blasts it.
who's that?
That'll be my dad.
That's your dad? So his dad is one of the greatest Scottish players of all time. They won the English Premier League in 1974-75 that year. His dad was the greatest scorer that year, right? And so you see these two guys? So your dad is in the middle, right?
That's right.
And
yeah.
the guy on the left,
So embarrassing.
the guy on the left, who is the guy on the left?
That's Alan Hinton.
That's
yeah.
Alan Hilton. So I have a little something here that I want to show because your dad, he played for, he came. So this is a bit the transition. So that's your dad. And then your dad came to Seattle because you lived in Seattle.
I did.
He played for the local Seattle Sounders, the original one in the 80s. And so you have Alan on the left and your dad, and then you have Alan on top and your dad, right? And that was your dad's jersey. That's
right.
like somebody knitted that. It's like the thickest cotton. So the guy on the left, the blonde guy, the handsome, is the best soccer player that we ever had in Seattle.
Well, that's
For-
debatable. It's the
Yeah,
one in-
with your dad. Forget Clint Dempsey. I was more. This is, and he happened to be an incredible, kind, and humble man, and he wanted to say hi. So please give a round of applause for Alan Hinton, one of the greatest players. Look at him. I'm very good. How are you?
Nice to see you.
And you?
Are you
You're
okay?
right.
Very good.
So I have a
Wow,
microphone.
very
So,
for you.
so do you have
I'll
a
get
hand
to
up?
do
How you
all
doing?
sorts of tricks. I'm doing great.
So
Doing okay?
this is, we wanted to give you an update. This is actually your dad's, because that jersey is pretty old, right? So
I need to get a photo of this and send it back.
oh, I'm
This is
sure we
amazing.
will. Don't worry. It's recorded. Don't worry. It's going to be on YouTube soon. Okay. So, Alan, his dad was a pretty good player, right?
No, he was terrible. He was not a good player. He was a great player. And a little bit about his background, Bruce's father.
Let me film.
Last September, I went back to England to celebrate Derby County, who won the big league in 1975. And the clear star of that team was Bruce Rioch. And I saw him last September. He looked great. He hasn't put weight on like most of us, but he was a wonderful player, Bruce's father. He was powerful. He scored 15 goals from the midfield in 1975 when we won the big league championship. I was then lucky enough to bring him to the Sounders in 1980. We had the best record in the history of the North American Soccer League with 25 wins. But Bruce was powerful. He was strong. You could see he was going to do things in the game after he retired from playing, and he eventually went on to coach the great Arsenal.
So his dad was the coach of Arsenal.
He was the coach of Arsenal, and then after he left Arsenal, Wenger took over. He might be just about to leave, actually, but
Maybe he's going to come back.
Yeah.
So you know all the skills that his dad had in soccer, he got them in business intelligence.
hey, Marco, listen, Bruce Jr. must be one hell of a man to be treated this way
but
by you.
he's-
So I'm not surprised. I did talk to Bruce last year, and he told me how proud he was of you, and told me you were always giving conversations and meetings with Microsoft and all that. So I knew you'd become a big shot, but I'm not surprised.
So
Anyway, I just want you to know that Bruce Rioch, Bruce's father, was a fantastic player. He's a great man, and he's a real legend.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
people like me, I'm a legend in my own mind.
that's right.
You know, like a lot of you guys, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm sure you've got things to do, but thank you for this little opportunity. It makes me happy to do things like this, so enjoy the conference. Marco, thanks for coming up with this.
Please,
Great
Alan
to see you,
Hinton.
Bruce.
Come and say hello in a minute.
Do you live in Seattle?
You guys can-
I'll come and say hello in a minute.
you know